Today I want to share some things that I've learned from Sarah Therese. She's a mom of almost 5 now. She was a YouTuber for many years, now she just does Instagram, but stay-at-home, work-from-home mom. She does all the things: sourdough, homemade food, eats healthy, gets up early, exercises, takes care of her body, does the journaling, prayer, watercolor. She did a video similar to this type of setup where she just kind of had a chat and colored while she filmed. I have learned a lot of things from her, and I thought I'd pass on some of those things to you because I think they are very good things to learn, to know, to ways to be. So double checking my notes. I forgot to mention that she also does homeschooling, which is all the things. She seems like she's on top of things all the time, which obviously we only see so much of her life online, but I have really enjoyed her videos. Well, now in the past, because she no longer uploads to YouTube. Hola, mi nombre es Darlene. I have 2 little ones, and I'm kind of trying to figure out this stay-at-home, work-from-home mom life, trying to always be learning and growing and looking for a community to share that with, where we all help each other figure things out as we go along, I guess. So if you're interested, consider subscribing, and let's get into this painting. I have not decided what I'm gonna paint yet, which is usually the hardest part. Should I just do a big ol' fat something, or should I use my smaller brushes? I have all the things. Might as well do this one because it's right in front of my face. Oh gosh, okay. I always struggle with the very first just stroke, I guess. La primera cosa que quiero hablar is the fact that self-care time is very important, especially as a mom. I mean, I say especially as a mom. It's important for everybody, right? But we as moms, we put everyone else's needs above our own. Sorry if this is kind of loud. Totally gonna freestyle because I didn't even draw anything on here before I started, which I usually do. Okay, you got this. You got this. I forgot paper towel. Hang on. Where was I? We just tend to neglect self-care more than maybe other people do. So, how do I even start? How do I honestly start? Okay. Pick a color, I guess. That's what would be the first thing to do. Don't put paint in your mouths, kids. And the other thing about self-care for moms is morning is probably the best time to do that. Honestly, as hard as it feels to get up early in the morning, and I'm not gonna say every morning because I am an advocate for just doing as you can, as what feels right, and not all or nothing. Yeah, getting up early whenever you can. Obviously, it helps so much when you actually can sleep good. Today is one of those days. I got up early. I did my exercise, shower, journaling, stretching, all these things. And wow, the day just feels so much better already from just starting out right. I don't know how many times I've heard this, but it's so true. It's so true. It took me so long to actually really, really realize that. Mixing some colors here. Sarah Therese is someone who gets up at 5 a.m. I just love that example that she sets, that we can get up early, really take care of ourselves, stretch, exercise, and as another thing of that, eat well, treat our bodies well, eat healthy. This is scary. Okay. Going off of that, and I think a base of her ability to do so many things is actually getting up early and taking care of herself before her kids get up. Because obviously you need to have energy yourself in order to give energy for others, to take care of others. So I don't know what I'm doing, okay? It's gonna look like a steaming cup of weed. of weeds. I guess I'm just gonna do this wacky... Okay. Drips and drops. She makes it look possible to do all the things. And this is something that I've seen my mother, it seems like she's always done all the things, you know? And I've always looked up to that and seen it as kind of an ideal that I would like to have myself to be able to reach. I guess she's just another example of that, and teaching that you can aspire to do all the things and you can do all the things. I feel unsure of my own ability to actually get there, but I think she's been a good example. And did I say example like 50 times already? And not that everybody has to do all the things and we don't have to do them all every single day. I guess in my head, I thought of this ideal of kind of my dream life, and she shows it. It's reality for her, at least what she portrays her life as on the internet. Another thing that I have learned from her is that kids can entertain themselves, or if they can't at this moment in time where you are now, they can learn. It is something that can be learned. You can teach your kids to entertain themselves, and I really love this because kids just shouldn't need to be entertained by adults all the time. And not only that, when a kid learns to entertain themselves, they learn so many other, you know, it's something they can carry into their future. They're not relying on other people's needs or wants or things to entertain them. Todo el tiempo, todos los días. You might have to start right now, like I did, with just 5 or 10 minutes, set a timer, put your kids doing something, some activity, and just go away for a bit and let them figure it out. And you might have to keep telling them back to the activity, back to the activity, back to the activity, redirecting them back to what they're doing. But over time, you can start to increase that amount of time that you set for them to have for themselves, and it is great both for mom and for kids. I'm so good at just copying somebody else's pictures, or if I draw something I can paint on top of it, but freestyle, freehand, completely, I don't know, I feel so incompetent. Oh gosh. I'm just so worried I'm always gonna wreck it, you know? Honestly, painting and talking. Another thing I've learned from Sarah Therese is that we as wives can happily, readily, lovingly serve our husbands. I think a lot of kind of feminism type of thoughts, beliefs are like women don't have to do everything. I just love the way she talks about how she lovingly serves her husband, happily does it, and you know, we do it not with the expectation that we're going to get the same thing in return, but of course that's kind of the idea, is that everybody serves and loves each other, you know. Also, hablando de eso, another part is the home is a safe space, a resting place, a recharging place for the husband to come home from, you know, when they're coming home from work. And so thinking of it in that way, it's important to make it a welcoming environment and some place that he wants to come home to and enjoys, and doesn't feel like,
oh, I just want to spend 5 more minutes in the quiet of my car before I go in the house.
So that could mean keeping it mostly clean, you know, food for him when he comes home. And these don't have to be like, oh, I have to do this thing, but they're acts of service because you love this person. And it's nice to think of being in your husband's shoes, you know, when they're coming home from a hard day at work, what would you like to come home to, right? I just like the way she kind of put that in perspective for me, because I have had times where it's hard to keep the house clean or hard to have a meal ready for him for supper. Yeah, still work in progress. But I think the mindset shift helps. I think mostly for all of these points that I'm actually going over are more so a way that she looks at life and a way that she explains things. Another thing I learned from her, she says how it's okay to get paid, right? I like how she talks about sponsored content for YouTubers that, you know, some people get mad whenever there's a sponsored video, but she relates it to, for example, somebody who is going to a normal job, they get a bonus or a raise and everybody's happy for them, right? Because they got this hard-earned money. Well, same thing for YouTubers. If they're putting out sponsored content, that means they're getting paid. They can pay their bills. They can provide for their family. This is a job and it's okay to want to get paid. It's not at all a bad thing. It's just a person working hard to earn money to provide for their family. One thing about nature, natural plants, is it's not regular. There's not going to be one here, 3 inches, 3 inches, like it's not regular. And I tend to try to do things in regular intervals when I am painting or drawing or creating pictures out of my mind, and that's just not how it goes. Darn it, I just dripped a drop. Another thing I like how she talks about, I forgot to delete stuff off my SD card from our last trip, so maximum recording time reached, so I forgot what I was saying. Let's put some yellow up there just to make so it looks like the sun. So she had over 1 million subscribers, right? She reached 1 million subscribers when she was still actively using YouTube as a platform. And of course, with 1 million subscribers comes a lot of unsolicited advice, hate, weird comments, random things from strangers on the internet. So one of those things was people telling her, you've changed since you hit 1 million subscribers. Even before that, of course, people are saying, oh, you've changed. I can't watch you anymore. You've changed. People, when they say you've changed, they tend to say it in a negative way, like it's a bad thing that you've changed. And as she said, I would be insane to not have changed after having gotten married, had 3 kids, moving a few times, 3 kids I say because she said that in her video, but I only have 2 kids. Not that I'm getting people telling me, oh, you've changed, but just looking at that as a good thing. You should be proud of what you have accomplished and the ways that you've changed. Es un problema de la otra persona if somebody is telling you that you've changed, and you should just look at it as a good thing because we all need to change and grow in this life, My grandma's an artist, and I'm sure if she watches my videos, she's gonna be cringing right now because I'm probably using the wrong brushes for the wrong things. I'm just making stuff up, okay? Making stuff up. Do you know what I want to do? I want to follow a Bob Ross tutorial at some point, someday. Oh gosh, see, there I do it. Sometimes my painting looks good and then I just go and do something and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. I don't like it. I really appreciate her approach to life, her loving, patient nature, and we can all learn and grow from each other. As she says, there's always a different perspective and a different way of looking at things, and maybe she does something some specific way, but doesn't mean you have to do it. Everybody has their own things that work for their own families, and that is life. I'm not trying to put words in her mouth or whatnot, and I may not have gotten everything 100% perfectly perfect, and I don't know what I'm doing either, so take it with a grain of salt. Let's put a splash here and put a splash there. I don't know, these look really fuzzy. Grass and clay. I have been terrible at these types of painting in the past because I get too much in my head of I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm kind of proud of myself for just kind of doing whatever the heck and not worrying about what it looks like, because I get so in my head about, oh, I can't waste this piece of paper because I'm never gonna get another piece of watercolor paper again in my life if I use up all these pages from this watercolor book that I have. You ever get like that? I think that's something that having kids has kind of taught me too. Speaking of learning things, because kids just, you ever see a kid color in a notebook? They will use all the pages, not to their fullest, and they do not care. This is just a casual, chatty video, and I hope you learned something from this. I hope you learned something from Sarah Therese. If you are a mom specifically, it is probably going to be very interesting for you to go check out her channel. I will link her channel down below. She is no longer active on there, but she still earns money from YouTube AdSense if people watch her videos. So go support her for what she has taught us. And thank you for being here with me and painting. Add some yellow from the sun. The big yellow one's the sun. You guys know that? The big yellow one's the sun. Is that from Brian Dodge? I could probably sit here for another hour piddling over this, but I guess that's enough. Thank you guys all for being here. I really appreciate all y'all. If you like my painting, just hit my chin. Give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see the video about the dream day in my life, you can click on this video, this thing right here, okay? I'll see you on Tuesday with a mastermind and Saturday with another video. All right, there we go. Bye.